stream to catch up. And when we shall begin. It's taking a little while longer than usual. And hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Grand Cat, and today we are finishing off the PCC, that's the People's Champion Choice. It is Liv Morgan versus Trish Stratus. We have selected the Liv Morgan. Baron Voin Joy says, heyo. Now let's make sure that the chat is working. Once again, like, for some reason, whenever I click that, it goes to that. But there we go, we have the chat actually working this time, unlike the past couple of live streams, where the chat has been a little bit in refusal. So we've chosen the Liv Morgan. Mono says hello. We are now at... Our rank is 1,674, and we have 15 minutes left. So we are just going to continue playing. Victor Farrell says, what's going on, the Grand Cat? Big fan. Thank you, Victor. You are indeed a true member of the Grand Cat Grand Fleet. And I appreciate you having wandered along to this little live stream. Thank you all for showing up. So this entire PCC, I don't think I've lost a single game. It has been very, very easy. These aren't, of course, real opponents. They are bots created by the development team, I presume. They are just AI. And they are not allowed to use anything other than regular Enigma Pros. So if you have Enigma Fusions, or if you have event cards and things, then you should easily win. So we're just doing +5s. We are not using any point doublers or any point quadruplers. And we're just going to be playing up until the event ends, which is roughly about 13 minutes. And we're just going to see what number we get. Miro says, I am also playing PCC. It's very hard to rank up. Yes, probably because at this point, toward the end, people are probably using point quadruplers, just try and catch up just a little bit toward the end. I'm not going to waste any more credits. I am quite satisfied with being in the top 2,000. This is good enough for me, especially since we will be getting a new tier very, very soon. We're going to be getting SummerSlam tier, and apparently we're getting a Road to SummerSlam tier, which I really hope we're not. I hope that is some misinformation, because I don't think we need a Road to SummerSlam. We had a singular Road to WrestleMania tier, and it was atrocious, where the only heroic event card you could get from it was Ricochet. I've actually been able to play this event blindfolded. Largely, while playing the event, I've just had YouTube on in the background or been watching something and just been sitting here tapping away. Miro says, yeah, I only spent 600 credits. I will get 1,000 for choosing Liv. That is true. You also get the reward if you went with Liv Morgan. I did expect Liv Morgan to be the one to win, largely because of recency bias, but also because she is the women's champion, which means that she gets that boost. So, for new players, I'm just going to use this super move. We don't need to use the super move, but we want to use 10 super moves because there's a brand new quest that we'll be taking a look at a little bit later on in the stream as well. The True Hulkster says, Road to Mania tier was a terrible idea. It was, what, a 6-week tier that was immediately made irrelevant by the first Mania event. That is absolutely correct. There was no need for it, and it was largely useless. There we go, one more tag match. But yeah, so you have to remember that with every episode of Raw, with every episode of SmackDown, it is possible that it's someone's first ever time watching the product. People do not have the encyclopedic knowledge that I do of close to 30 years of professional wrestling. So there is certainly a recency bias where people will always choose some of the newer people. Like, some people think Roman Reigns is the greatest wrestler of all time, of which he may very well be, time will tell. He's certainly highly up there, but I mean, I think of the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin, but then that is probably also biased by me because Stone Cold Steve Austin was the man while I was growing up, so, you know, there's that as well. There's some people that think John Cena is the GOAT, the greatest of all time, of which I would disagree. There were some very, very, some very, very dull times in the John Cena era, to say the least. But then it did follow on from what was essentially the Attitude Era. So it had, the PG era had a lot that it had to try and overcome. Let's see here. Tunes Bro says, have you got the Skibidi pack? Nope, I do not. I do not even know what that is. I know about the Skibidi toilet thing and all that kind of stuff. I do not know what the Skibidi pack is. Alex Gardner Pro says, hi, how are you? I am doing fine, Alex. Thank you for coming along to the live stream. Mino says, Road to WrestleMania was cool because the old school images of current superstars. I think if it had been around a bit longer and not just a matter of weeks, it would have been more worthwhile. I don't think, like, the idea of a new tier is fine, but a new tier that only lasts a number of weeks as opposed to a longer period is just silly, in my opinion. True Hulkster says, it's obviously IRS and I'm sick of people pretending it's not. That's him, of course, referring to the greats of all time. Alex Gardner says, how come you've not bought some doublers? Well, I genuinely don't feel that I really need a high-level Liv Morgan for this. I just don't see the point, especially since we're going to be getting a new tier soon, and I've got a Fusion left and right tier arrow females that you can see right here. We also have the PCC up and down arrows of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And yeah, I just feel like when the new tier comes out, it's probably going to replace a lot of these cards. So I'm not shockingly bothered about Liv Morgan. If it was Rhea Ripley, I might have put in a bit more effort. I'm more of a fan of Rhea Ripley. I'm certainly more of a fan of Nia Jax, but that is a controversial opinion. I really like Nia Jax. But, yes. But for Liv Morgan, you know, I could take her, leave her, you know. We've put the effort in. We're going to get in the top 2,000 anyway. So that's what we're going for. Victor Farrell says, I was in the top 2,002 but had to work today, so now I'm trying to catch back up for the last 10 minutes, ranked 5,300 now. Yeah, that is unfortunately one of the things that happens, especially in these ranked events, that people tend to put in the extra effort on the final day, which means ranking up is significantly harder, and a lot of times you're actually just spending credits just to try and keep your place. Let me just type this in. It is 6023. Sheep says, I am here. Well, thank goodness for that. Alex says, my name on Supercard is Liv Morgan, with Tundra Liv Morgan is my profile picture. Ah, I see. I think you messaged me earlier. If you are interested in joining the team, you have about 7 minutes to do it. What you have to do is click on that link in the description that will take you into my Discord channel. Go into there, and someone in Soul World Order 2 will get you into the team. It'll either be Will or it'll be someone else. Probably most likely Will. And hopefully you'll be able to jump in before Team Road Glory starts, and then you'll get a Enigma Solo Score, because we always get the final card in every Team Road Glory, and in every ring domination we get the Enigma card from that as well. And we will continue to do so for all the new tiers that come out. We have just under 6 minutes left. Minnow says, I remember Mania 33 tier. That tier was so long. I do actually remember that tier. Some tiers are over very quickly, and some tiers just stay around forever. Big Boss Man says, blood for the Blood God. I believe he is quoting Warhammer. I do not know why he is quoting Warhammer. Baron Casty says, let's hope I can stay up in the top 1000. Sway29X says, any tips on gaining and keeping credits? Well, if you want to know how to gain credits, I have done a series of little videos on them, of how I played Raid Shadow Legends in order to get a whole bunch of credits. Not sponsored, of course, but through doing that, that is how I got my Gringotts amount of gold. You can see it up there. I have 169,000 credits. So that is... I took advantage of the offer wall. I believe it was a double offer wall. And that is what allowed me to get that ridiculous amount of credits. Brandon Cassidy says, any tier is welcome. That is true. You don't have to be an Enigma tier. You don't even have to be in one of the top levels of tiers, so long as you are willing to come in and put in the effort, put in the grind. We will get you all the Enigma cards, and even the SummerSlam or Road to SummerSlam, whatever it is that comes out next, so that you will be at top tier without having to spend any money or any credits yourself. Alex says, I don't have Discord, so I can't join. That is unfortunate, because Discord is a requirement, because Discord is what we use to talk about battle plans for Team Battlegrounds. It's where we keep track of everyone's ranks. It is basically what we do everything with, and it's also where we can contact people when we urgently need a reason to speak to the person. So, unfortunately, the Discord is absolutely required. The Book of Danger says, hi, Grand Cat. Hello, Book of Danger. Welcome to the stream. Baron Cassidy says, offer all helps. That is absolutely correct. Sway29X says, thank you very much. I will look into it and your videos on it. You're most welcome. I always enjoy helping the Grand Cat Grand Fleet. I do hope that it has earned a click of that subscribe button. That is all the Grand Cat asks. Alex says, I love your content and keep up the good work. Well, thank you very much, Alex. It really does mean a lot. Even though I am the Fleet Admiral of the Grand Cat Grand Fleet, I do love hearing the opinions of every single member of my Grand Cat Grand Fleet members. So it's very, very cool that you have taken the time to thank me. And Grand Cat acknowledges it, and Grand Cat appreciates it. Lost the ability to speak. And Grand Cat appreciates it, is what I was trying to say. Sometimes you lose the ability to speak in the middle of these live streams. This is a thing that happens. It's a natural occurrence. Triple H and Bobby Lashley not agreeing with each other. We're still getting the multiple animations for a singular win. Alex says, Victor Farno says, Grand Cat is the GOAT. Oh, why, thank you very much, Victor. Very much appreciated. Alex says, what is your opinion on the Money in the Bank this year? It happened exactly as I predicted. If you look at my predictions video, it was very, very close. The only thing I got wrong was I thought Braun Breaker would beat Sami Zayn. I thought it would be the right time for Braun Breaker to step up and get the IC title. apparently WWE disagrees with me. Apparently WWE thinks that Sami Zayn still has more to go with the Intercontinental title run. I thought it was really cool the way that Drew McIntyre won the Money in the Bank in dominating fashion, and then once again CM Punk ruined Drew McIntyre's cash-in, which is what I expected. But it never occurred to me that CM Punk would be responsible for Seth Rollins no longer being able to challenge for the title, because Seth Rollins wasn't pinned. He wasn't the one that was beaten. Damian Priest pinned Drew McIntyre after Drew McIntyre had been beaten up by CM Punk with the title hit, the title shot. 1 minute left to go. So it feeds into, of course, Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, but it also reignites that fire of Seth Rollins hating CM Punk. So that's going to be very cool to see that come back into play. It's going to be very, very interesting. I'm not sure where the story's going to go with that. I think that Seth Rollins versus CM Punk might be the storyline that comes after Drew McIntyre. So that's what I'm expecting. But I thought it was a really good Money in the Bank this year. There have been some Money in the Banks that have been largely garbage. You remember specifically the one that Brock Lesnar won when he wasn't even part of the match, and people were not entirely happy about that one. We have 12 seconds left. 10 seconds left. I'm going to try and jump in. Cooldown? What? I've never seen a cooldown before. I'm going to try and jump in and do one more match. And let's see if we can get this one match finished. And then that will be the event over and done with, which I am very, very thankful for, because this has taken quite a while. I infinitely prefer the events where you can get a double heroic, where you can get a heroic card, because once you complete it, you know that it's done, it's finished, and you don't have to do any more. But with these PvP events, you are constantly competing against everyone else across the world, and it's just a really, really slow 4 days of just a slog to see where you are. So there we go. The event has ended. It came up there. The event has ended once again. And the event ends in 1 second, apparently. Cooldown of 11 seconds. I have never seen this cooldown thing before. Have you guys seen this before? That's crazy. But it looks like our rank is 1,669, which is really, really crazy, because we have 169,006 credits. So there's an awful lot of 1s, 6, and 9s involved there. It's very, very interesting that it is like that. Maybe if we back out and go back in, that will make things happy. Now it says the event has ended. The event closes in 5 hours and 58 minutes. And clicking on tap to play just says the event has ended. We got a total of 879 wins and 0 losses. And does it mention what our rank is anywhere? Our rank is 1,667. So there you go. There is the final scores, it seems. Of course, that might change. We'll just need to wait for that to finish. I'm going to screenshot that. There we are. So now we know what the final results were of that. And Team Road to Glory has just now officially started. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of this. So our quests, we still need to win just 12 more matches with Drew McIntyre to get this one. We need to get 13 more tickets to finish this, and we are closing in on... Now this doesn't actually give you a Doink the Clown, it just gives you a Doink the Clown... What is this called? Avatar? I want to say Avatar. It also gives you 3 of these unicycle tokens. So that is what that gives you. We need to use the super move 9 more times, we need to acquire 25 tickets, and we need to reset the draft board 20 more times. So, we're getting close to finishing those Battle Pass quests, the various different quests as well. But let's take a look and see what other goodies we have in here. In our rewards, there's a brand new daily streak. So go ahead and grab that. It will give you 3 unicycle tokens if you particularly care. From our Watch Party rewards, we got a Jey Uso. we have Ken Shamrock and a Crucible Ilya Dragunov. I really think the Watch Party reward should be a little bit better, rather than giving us Noir and Crucible cards, which are not quite as fantastic. Our draft board is now complete. We're now at 52. Performance Center. What else we have? Let's take a quick look at the Fusion Center, because I think we've got quite a few of these. So let's go ahead and start one of these little Showtime fusions. And of course, we're going to need some unicycle tokens if we're going to start getting some of the other ones. Now, we don't need a lot of this. A lot of this is garbage, so let's go ahead and dust those. Dust the ones that are the least necessary for us. We did get a whole bunch of rewards there from playing PCC, including getting quite a few of the gold tokens. So you can see there we have 121 of the gold fusion tokens, but we don't really need any more fusions, so I'm going to hold off on those and going to keep them for the SummerSlam tier or the Road SummerSlam tier. Apparently some of our equipment has upgraded. The best way to find out which one is to go into here and go into Edit Deck. And let's take a quick look. So these ones are all the same. I think actually probably what it is probably going to be Blair Davenport. It is. There we go, because that was a right arrow that I was training up using Blair Davenport. And I think that might be the only equipment. It is. So now we can go into the draft board and let's go ahead and grab some of these. We do obviously still need some energy for... Oh my goodness, I meant to dust those. I did not mean to do that twice. Let's go ahead and dust those cards we just got. It was silly of me. That'll do. So let me show you a quick way to get TBG energy. So we click into here. Of course, going to use that. Click here. Draft board. And then an interesting thing is whenever you have 0 TBG energy, the first one is always going to give you 1 energy. So if you do that, then you click back, then go into social, then you can use the energy. You can see there that we are on 88 of 120. So if we try and do this quickly, this is a fast method to getting TBG energy. And that is probably the fastest way you can do it without actually spending any credits. And so on. We still have 18 hours left, so I'll get the other 13 once, or the other 30 even, not 13. I'll get the other 30 once I have finished doing the live stream. And then once you've done that, you just want to dust all the rest of the cards that you got, because it's faster to just dust them all at the same time rather than dusting them individually. The Book of Danger says, "Hi, Grandcat." Hello, Book of Danger. I'm pretty sure I said hello, Book of Danger earlier, but there we are. Let's see, let's read some of the chat. Alex says, "I think it's going to be Seth versus Drew versus Punk at SummerSlam. That'd be interesting." Minnow says, "It kicked me out of my last match. Very rid of it. I've seen the cooldown a couple of times when I tap too fast." Victor says 696969. Yes, that is the fun number. True Hulkster says, "I'd love it if Seth and Drew put aside their differences and form an absolutely demonic tag team just to beat up on CM Punk. That would be very cool indeed." Yeah, we could get a very interesting, a very angry heel Seth Rollins alongside the Scottish warrior Drew McIntyre as well. So that could be very, very interesting. So let's go into Team Road to Glory. Arav Raj says, "What was your rank in PCC?" I believe it was 1667. Although we're still waiting for the rewards to come in. Let me just check. Yes, your rank is 1667. So we didn't go too hard in this one. We weren't using doublers or such. The rewards are not yet in. And let's begin Team Road Glory, where we'll try and get a soul score. We'll play a little bit of this. The Book of Danger says, sorry, my Wi-Fi has not been that great. No, that's alright. That is completely fine, Book of Danger. It is very nice to see you come along to the live stream. Of course, Team Road Glory uses the deck of your entire team. It's not just your own cards. So everyone has 2 males and 1 female that they put into the deck. And that is what is used. Also, for everyone that enjoys wrestling, I recommend watching NXT Heatwave. It was on last night and was a surprisingly good pay-per-view. No spoilers, but it was very, very interesting what happened at the end, to say the least. Very surprising. But if you haven't seen it, well worth watching. Would certainly recommend it. What on earth is going on here? Why is there a single Enigma card? That is very rude. Someone should know better. There's a big old, Stone Cold, son. I tell you what. Victor Farrell says, not even that, Roxanne Perez match was my favourite for me. Very good pay-per-view overall, absolutely, I agree. I also thought the pop rocks on the table was a pretty cool move, a pretty cool spot. Also, Obafemi pulled out a brand new version of the F5 that looks absolutely brutal, where he just launched Wesley into the air and just let gravity take over. I was very, very surprised by that. Thought that was really, really cool. So we're just going to dust all those like so. And there we are. Victor says, well, you said no spoilers. Well, I'm not going to say who won any of the matches. I'm just going to say that there were some very, very cool moves and some very cool spots. But yes. I don't mind talking about some spots that happened. You know, they're very, very cool. But I try not to give away the endings to any matches to anyone that hasn't seen them, because there are some surprising things that happened in that show. A particularly surprising one at the end. So, but that's very, very cool. If you haven't watched NXT Heatwave, I certainly recommend it. It's a very, very cool show. Now, do we have our Liv Morgan? No, the reward has not yet came in. Of course, I do not read messages when I'm doing live streams, so unfortunately that message from Liv Morgan is not going to be read here. Victor says, yeah man, NXT is such a great direction. It absolutely is. It is the last time I saw NXT as good as what it is currently was back when it was the Black and Gold era, when it was Adam Cole and such. And I think they're getting back to that point. I think when Vince McMahon took over and made it NXT 2.0 and made it like the rainbow colours and things, that was absolutely atrocious and almost killed it. But I think Shawn Michaels has brought it back to the peak level that it was at before. It is very, very exciting. It's very, very entertaining. And I could see it getting to the point where NXT just start casually beating AEW ratings, because AEW really needs better storylines if they are going to have any chance of doing anything in the future. But NXT is doing so good at the moment. I'm not against AEW. In fact, actually, I was a huge fan of AEW at the start. But I still watch AEW, still watch the pay-per-views. But they really, really need to step up their game. Like, they shockingly need to step up their game. Because they are not doing very well at the moment. Whereas NXT is doing amazing. Let me see here. Pascal says, where did you get your credits from? Any tips? Is it Offerwall? It is indeed from the Offerwall, and there is a series of videos that I have made of how I used the Offerwall and played Raid Shadow Legends to get my Gringotts amount of gold. There is a series of videos for you to all check out that you can all happily enjoy. Victor says, Bad Blood. Yes, I saw that they are bringing that pay-per-view back. I think it makes sense with the idea of the bloodline and such. Pascal says, thanks bro, you are most welcome. The point that I took advantage of the offer wall was when there was a ×2 multiplier on the offer wall. So just keep an eye out for them. Just keep an eye out for what you think is the best rewards. With me, the best rewards seemed to come from playing Raid Shadow Legends. Now, it wasn't free in Raid Shadow Legends. It did ask you to buy specific bundles in Raid Shadow Legends. But the amount that I spent was gave me significantly more Supercard credits than I would have got from just buying Supercard credits. So that was the reason that I did it. And of course, the ×2 multiplier on the offer wall certainly does make a huge difference as well. So I think we're going to finish this little match here, and then we're going to finish up the video. It could take a while for Liv Morgan to come through. Ideally, I was going to hope that we would be able to get the Liv Morgan from this, like in this stream, but sometimes it happens very, very quickly. Other times it takes a long, long time. So I'm not going to sit around and wait. So instead, I think I'm going to finish up the video, and then I'll just record a separate video to go up once we have our Liv Morgan, and we can see what number we get on said Liv Morgan. It should be 1,667, but I thought I would live stream the last few minutes of PCC so that I could talk to the Grand Cat Grand Fleet as well. But there we are, folks. That is going to be it for this little video. I really hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy it, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure you click that little notification icon so you can see when more of these glorious little videos go out. And we shall see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.